So today I'm going to talk about reclaiming your voice as a karmic contract, a wound, a sacred wound that you have agreed to with God to heal. And I share this with you because I want to advocate for people who have maybe been in abusive relationships and have questioned their sanity, or been in families with, secrets and things that are very heavy, and maybe you conditioned yourself to be silent. Not that we have to go tell people, about our family's secrets or about anything, but we have silenced ourselves, right? We have lied to ourselves. We have stifled our life because we don't believe it's safe to know what we know. So if you see on my throat, I have a scar from here all the way to here. I had thyroid cancer in 2012, and I had 90 or 87 lymph nodes removed. This is basically, physically speaking, the entire throat chakra. And so, needless to say, a big part of my healing journey has been to reclaim my voice. And I have attracted people who try to control me, who flip narratives, who are never wrong, who try to spiritually seduce me, who may have a Jekyll and Hyde personality, to the appearances is like doing good things, and then behind closed doors, not meaning well at all. So my journey has been a tough journey of acknowledging my intuition and feeling safe to know what I know, even if nobody in this world believes me. That's how you heal the wound, right? If you've had all these lives, let's use past lives as a metaphor. I don't necessarily believe that this idea of past lives is true in the way it's traditionally presented, but it's useful as a metaphor to give you a story, to give you a picture of the wound that you're carrying, because my direct experience, my direct mystical experience is that everything is happening at once. So it doesn't make sense to me to say the past this happened and now this is happening. However, it's useful to look at a theme, like a thematic story, an archetypal story, to understand what the wound you're carrying is. So, we all know about the witch wound, right? Existing as a healer, as somebody who lived outside of the norms of society, maybe even outside of the borders of society. Women that did not want to get married and have children, simply making a choice that was more aligned for them, often got them killed, murdered, humiliated. In England, and I don't remember the year, women were treated for hysteria when they had very normal reactions to things that we should be angry about. So we've had this era, right? This environment, this movie, where for many of us, if we are carrying the task of healing the wound, we've had the felt experience and the trauma of questioning our sanity, questioning our very nature, feeling fundamentally unsafe in this world. Like you could be killed for being yourself. Like it's not safe to know what you know, maybe because it hurts too much, maybe because the pain of nobody believing you is too painful for you. So it's you stuff your truth very deep in your subconscious, and hopefully not in your unconscious, but sometimes you're unconscious, so that you don't have to deal with the pain of feeling unloved or feeling rejected. So here's how you heal this. And I want to say that everybody's healing journey is so different. In my life, I have not had to learn really how to have compassion for others. I was born having compassion for others. I was born understanding others. I am an extreme empath. I read the energy of people's souls. I know what they're not giving themselves. I try to the best of my ability to support them giving themselves what they need. That's not my lesson. My lesson is to know who I am, even if the world tries to make me doubt that. Right when I'm saying that, the sun is shining. Like it's the morning. The sun just started shining, like right here. So that's my journey, and I'm willing to bet, oh, it's getting brighter and brighter. I'm willing to bet that if you are listening to my content and have been for a little while, that you might share this wound with me. And so I just want to offer any insights that I can that might be helpful to you to move this blockage out of your throat and to reclaim your voice. So a really kind of layman's term way of saying, of describing how to clear the throat chakra is to tell the truth. Is to tell yourself the truth of the truth that you already know. Is to tell yourself the truth. So if you're in a marriage where you're shrinking yourself to not upset the apple cart, if you are in a marriage where there's something fundamentally untrue for you, whether it's you don't like the way you're treated, even if the person is not overtly abusive, even if they're just avoidant, right? Even if they just constantly disagree with you or play devil's advocate because they favor the energy of hardness over the energy of softness. And if you're really real with yourself, you want somebody who is emotionally warm. So to clear the throat chakra, you'd have to get really real. You'd have to get really real. You have to say, who am I? I love this sun right now. Who am I? Who am I? What do I want? Clarify who I am and clarify my desire. And own it without fear. So if you, like in my life, I've been in situations where I have encountered highly deceptive people, and I'm not exaggerating. To the point where, actually, one of these people told me when I realized what they were doing, they said, Alex, everything I did for you to your face was to make up for all the good things I did to you, to your face, were to make up for all the things I did behind your back. And he was able to have that awareness, and I was impressed by that. But when I left him, the journey for me was to know unequivocally the truth, right? Before he admitted that to me, I started to extricate myself from the situation. And when I tell you, every darkness in this world tried to stop me, because this is what happens when you are on the verge of truly like healing a sacred wound. The shadows will have their last hurrah, right? They're going to come and try to control you. He did so many things that people do to try to keep you trapped in the same thing, in the same dynamic you're in. And me reclaiming my voice was saying, I don't think so. You can pretend to go to the therapist, pretend to do this, threaten this, try to manipulate me financially, try to do this, that, X, Y, Z. I don't care. I might not have a safety net. My family might not believe me. I don't care. I reclaim my voice. I extricate myself from the situation. Okay? So that's a big layer of healing. So ask yourself, Is there something in your life where you're in a situation that you're trying to convince yourself, you're lying to yourself. You're trying to convince yourself that it works for you, but it doesn't. It really doesn't. Okay? And this could be, it doesn't have to be that your partner is sadistic or abusive. It could just be that in this relationship where you're trying to make yourself fit like a puzzle piece into somebody else's puzzle, but it just doesn't fit. That's going to cause insomnia. That's going to cause deep disturbance. It's not about you having to be right and another person having to be wrong. It's about, the lesson is like, I need to stop making myself fit into something that isn't me. I need to stop lying to myself. I need to stop lying to myself. I don't need to fit into somebody's life in favor of being compassionate. If something doesn't work for me, if a relationship doesn't work for me, right, you're lying to yourself if you try to say, oh, but let me understand their childhood. Let me understand how they are trying. Let me understand what they are doing, to transform the relationship. Let me understand them. That's all a distraction. That's all self-abandonment, right? Reclaiming your voice is about not abandoning yourself anymore. And by the way, that's how you restore your health. Restoring your health is about the cessation of self-abandonment and the cessation of giving your power away to authorities, to spiritual authorities, to false gods, to anything that you leaned on that was taking the place of God. So it doesn't have to be that, okay, you're in, again, like an abusive situation that you need to escape from. It could be a situation that to most people would seem pretty normal, right? Like, okay, I'm in a relationship, we don't always agree, and but the question is, are there fundamental incompatibilities? Fundamental. Do you feel like you're changing yourself? You're shrinking yourself, you're dimming yourself. Do you feel stifled? Do you feel when you try to just communicate from your soul that the person wants to shut you down? If you are accepting that, you are harming yourself, you are abandoning yourself. If you are on a spiritual journey, and a big part of claiming your truth is your divinity, right? And what is your divinity? It's your fundamental nature. Your divinity in the most fundamental sense is awareness and love. But also like that if you had this witch wound, if you've had this wound of being persecuted and punished for being yourself, you might have this impression in your soul that you deserve to be treated badly, that you don't deserve even basic things like being respected. You might think on a fundamental level that there's just no way in hell that you can just be yourself, want what you want, and that God will take care of you. So that you have to contort yourself. You have to contort yourself to fit into the world in a way that is fundamentally not true for you. And what happens is the mirror of reality will show you what you're doing to yourself. So if somebody asks me, how do we attract avoidant people? It's we abandon ourselves. That's what the hologram is showing you. Somebody who doesn't give you the time of day to confront them about how they hurt you. Somebody who runs away from your emotions. Somebody who runs away from the idea that they could, that they cause chaos or that they can be harmful or that they're even human. If you choose to engage with a person like that and you continue to engage with a person like that because you think you're being understanding, you're not actually in the energy of love. You are experiencing unhealthy love without boundaries. You are abandoning yourself in favor of giving something to someone else that you're not giving to yourself. So the good news is you don't necessarily have to get divorced. You don't necessarily have to take a major action, although you may have to. The good news is, no matter what situation you're in, all you have to do is start administering the medicine, which is, I know my truth. I know what is happening in this situation. For a lot of people, right, if you have given your power away to an authority, you might attract a spiritually abusive person. Somebody that might have, like, they might fancy themselves an enlightened person, a spiritual teacher, the second coming of Christ, however it takes shape in that person. They might fancy themselves, and if you believe that you need an authority to save you, you will buy into it. This is very common, unfortunately, in the spiritual arena. I mean, actually, it's not unfortunate. This is just the lessons we have to learn. But we can point out abusive teachers and there's healers, by the way. I just want to stick this in here. There are people with remarkable healing powers, what some people will call siddhis, remarkable, demonstrable healing powers, and meaning they can hypnotize you, cut you open, pull out cancer, and yet they still manipulate women and sexually abuse women and children. So having a spiritual gift by no means indicates your level of integrity as a human being, just so you know. Please don't fall for, even I'm channeling on this channel. Like, I channel the Pleiadians sometimes, and okay, I do that for fun, to just share with you something that may be helpful for you. I have a lot of energy in my hands. The energy in my hands burns my skin. Does that mean I don't have a shadow? No. I have a shadow. I talk about it on this channel. Does that mean I don't have abuser energy? No. I've had to reel in my abuser energy. I've had to realize that when I'm being volatile and reactive, it's because there's a deeper problem that I'm not addressing, and that I'm addressing in this video. That the real deep problems is that we're abandoning ourselves, right? A lot of anxious types that are the more volatile types in relationships that attract avoidant people, they're avoiding themselves. They're avoiding their fears. They're avoiding their limited belief system. If I'm attracting something that is cruel to me, my belief system believes that I deserve it. My heart is closed to my own self-compassion. I'm letting my fears dominate me. I'm letting my belief in lack dominate me. Oh, but if I leave this, I'll never find someone else. Nobody else will understand me in the way they understand me. That's all lies and bullshit. You're lying to yourself. You're lying to yourself. How are you lying to yourself in your career, in your relationship with your children? How are you lying to yourself, and how can you stop lying to yourself right now? If you're really sincere about that, let me tell you something. Like, the throat chakra is not just about speaking your truth. It's about feeling safe in this world in your truth. Feeling unsafe in this world in your truth causes autoimmune disease. It causes adrenal fatigue. It causes weak kidneys. It causes disorientation. The actual physical sensation of questioning your sanity can literally feel like physical disorientation. This is very serious. Healing is not just about open your heart more, forgive more. Yeah, do that. Do all of that. But also realize that if you goddamn well know a truth, honor it. Honor it. And by the way, I don't mean a truth is like that. It's not that person is a narcissist or that person is bad, but the truth is they're doing something that feels awful to me. That's true. The labels and the stories and the way and the pointers that we have to help us recognize patterns, those things are useful, but those things are not fundamentally true. But what is fundamentally true is I'm in a situation where I can just feel, I can just feel the pressure and the disturbance and the dysfunction of me shrinking myself, denying myself, and ignoring myself just to hang on to something, to hang on to my family, to hang on to my relationship, to hang on to my job. to hang on to my image of myself. So this is very deep, and I'm creating a lot of classes right now. I'm going to Sedona for a month, where I feel like classes are gonna come through me like there's a Lana Del Rey song, and she goes something about writing poetry like on amphetamines. That's what I feel like sometimes when I'm really inspired. I just can't stop. I can't stop creating. So I'm about to release succinct. I know I come on here and I share sporadically, but I'm organizing myself, and I'm going to create content around so many different things, around reclaiming your voice, around helping empaths restore their sense of individuality. I'm going to help you, give whatever I can offer about how to move through a Kundalini awakening. And any other suggestions that you have for material that you would like me to talk about, I'm very happy to receive. So I hope this was helpful. Clearing the throat chakra is about telling yourself the truth. Telling yourself the truth. You may have had a childhood where there was a predator in your life and nobody believed you. That's very common. That's very common. Like, kids get abused, severely abused, and then like their own family doesn't believe them. And so right from the beginning, you're beginning with the premise that I don't deserve, even my body doesn't deserve like just basic decency, safety. And the people who are supposed to care for me the most don't believe me. That's very painful, but you were born with that karma. Your childhood didn't create it. And so to heal it, we have to say, you know what? I know goddamn well what's going on here. I don't have to hate them. I don't have to wish badly for them. You want to heal your own wound and leave the situation with love and gratitude for what these people, what these souls have helped you heal. You don't want to leave, if you leave a karmic contract with hatred or blame, you didn't complete the contract. Because if we're even going deeper with honesty, the deepest honesty is like, this was always my job to heal myself. They just played the part. And I'm only hurting myself if I hate anybody or if I blame anybody. So I hope this was helpful, and I hope you have a beautiful day.